Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hi guys, I'm Maureen.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Tiffany.
And today we're joined with a very special guest from our favorite binge show, Friday Night Lights. We're here with Drew Waters.
Hey, everyone.
Hello. And I saw the movie that you have on your email. What is it? Remind me the name of what that is?
A New Life. That's the one I did with actually my wife. I met my wife on a movie set, and it was kind of one of those Hollywood love stories. And we set off to design and build a romance, and we did.
I have not watched it yet, but I was actually looking into that, and it looks really good. I'm not just saying that to float your boat either. It looks really good.
Thank you. We got lucky with the cast, and it went out theatrically and then toured the world. And Samuel Golden has it on all the platforms now, and so we're excited about it. It's still doing well, and the message more than anything is about hope, and not giving up on life no matter where you're at in life, and we all struggle through that portion of it. And it was just a reminder, no matter what life throws at you, that step forward could be the step that changes.
Yes.
Everything.
And I think that's what, because I watched the trailer, and that really intrigued me about the trailer, because I saw the husband and the wife at one point had their head shaved.
Yeah. And actually, the funny thing about that is we're sitting in LA trying to figure out how we're going to do skull caps and make them look realistic, and to honor, all the women and men that lose their hair during a certain period of their lives, going through certain things. And my wife came out and she goes, "Would it just benefit if I just shaved my head?" And she had long hair, down to the middle of her back. And I went,
"Wow,
would you do that?" And originally we were never going to show it. We were going to just have it come into another storyline. And we were sitting with a couple, one of our investors' friends, and they were telling a story about when they were going through something similar. They took a bottle of wine down to the end of the dock, watched the sunset, and he did it. And we thought that is the most romantic thing
yes,
I've ever seen. And I've never seen it portrayed that way in a film. And so we decided to scratch 2.5 pages of the script, rewrite it. In a week, we brought it to life.
that's awesome." That was my favorite part of the trailer, was that.
Well, I hope you watch it. Like I said, it's on all the streaming platforms. You can go to newlifethemovie.com and find out where it's at as well. But yeah, it's we're getting a lot of great feedback from it. And Terry OQuinn and Barry Corbin and Bill Cobbs, Irvin P. Hall, those James Marster, all those great TV actors, they came on board, and it just made it that much better.
Yeah. And Terry OQuinn, I have a connection to him because he's big where I just moved from, because he was born in Sault Ste. Marie, and that's where I live. So like, he's a big deal up there.
Yeah.
So when he was doing Lost, everyone was like, "Oh, I know that guy." That was a big deal. I don't know him, but it was a big deal.
Can you get his autograph for me?
They're stalking his parents' house in Newberry, poor people.
Oh.
That's Aaron and I. We're bi-coastal now, but I'm originally from Texas, and she's a Georgia girl. And so about 3 years ago, we came out to Georgia to do a couple of projects, and just fell in love with the countryside, the greenery. Every backyard has a spring running through it, and had a great airport so we can bounce around everywhere. And so we bought a place in Georgia, and it's been great.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So we have some questions for you.
Yeah, fire away.
We would like to know what it was like working on the set of Friday Night Lights. If you could tell us a little bit about it.
Here's the funny thing about Friday Night Lights. So it is probably to date, Breaking Bad and Friday Night Lights are two of my favorite sets to date, just because maybe it was the time period, maybe it was definitely the cast and the crew, but I think it was based off of what the concepts were, and how the cast brought the characters to life. But Friday Night Lights, I did one of my first shows I ever did, because I got in this industry when I was 30. I got out of the military and opened up businesses and stuff. And I had a chance to do a commercial in Tokyo, Japan, of all places. And it was a Dell's computer commercial, and I was spiking a ball into a green screen. And I fell in love with the old 35s, and I'm a gadget guy. And so I during between takes, the translator and I would walk over and I just ask a million questions to the camera guys. And I came back, woke up 30 years old, and man, I'm stressed out and miserable, chasing money. And I look back, what made me the happiest, and it was that moment. And so I set out to chase it. And one of the first things I did was a show called NBC Surface. Jeffrey Reiner was one of the execs on it. And he remembered me from that show and called me in on Friday Night Lights. And I booked second season, and there was a whole completely different storyline.
Really?
I was supposed to go into a college swim coach position, and I was supposed to follow one of the main characters over out of high school to college. And they shoot it, everything went well. I blanketed out everywhere. I was so excited about it. And they cut it. They changed the whole storyline on me. And I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my God.
Oh.
And then going into season 3, before season 3 kicked off, I get a phone call from my agent saying, hey, they want to bring you in to read for this character that it's got 3 to 5 episode arc. And they want you to read for it. And this is no joke how this went down. I show up, Jeffrey's in Austin. He's the producer and executive on it. And so he's reading everybody for this role with casting. Best Step goes doing the casting. And I walk in, and Jeffrey walks out, he doesn't see me yet, walks in the casting room and says, hey, there's this high school coach. He's the real deal. I forget the name of the school, but his name is this. Look him up, see if he'll come in and read for this role. I mean, we can make it work. We'll figure it out. But he won't act it. He'll just be real about it. And that's what we're looking for and all that stuff. And he walks out and he sees me. He goes, hey, Drew? I go, yeah, Jeffrey. He goes, are you here to read for that role? Well, I said, what? Sounds like you got the guy. He goes, no, come on in. And I went in. And we sat there and small talked a little bit, and Jeffrey liked to see if you were able to ad lib and kind of go off course and come back on. And Friday Night Lights was all about letting the actors ad lib a little bit and really engross into their character. And at the end of it, he goes, all right, you got the role. I went, all right, that sounds great. This is awesome. And then on the set, I mean, Kyle Chandler, amazing guy. We're still friends. He's introduced me to one of my best friends in a military organization called Wish for Our Heroes. He's part of it, and I still ask him questions constantly about the business and just what's going on. Brad Leland and I are working on a project right now with Jesse Plemons called Love and Death down in Austin, Texas. So we kept in touch. But through this process, I was supposed to be 3 to 5. And coming up to 5, we're sitting there and we have a night game. We're all on there. And I was supposed to take the place of Blue, his character, because he has a heart attack. And I was supposed to just fill a gap. And they originally brought me on as a private quarterback coach for the young kid and the booster dad. And so he steps in and he goes, hey, I need this gap filled. You want to come on and do this temporary? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Thinking it's temporary. And Michael Waxman, I'll never forget, he kept walking around episode 3 to 5 going, oh, good things are happening. I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Episode 5, we're sitting there freezing in the middle of the rain. They have big rain gear out, and we're freezing in the middle of the night shooting this football scene. And I'm finally looking around thinking, I'm counting all the heads, and everybody in the coaching position is on the field. And I'm like the extra body. And I'm going, what am I doing here? And I finally go, Michael, I don't want to listen. I'm so happy to be here, but I'm just so confused what my character is doing here. I don't know what I'm doing here. He goes, what do you think you're doing here? And Kyle goes, yeah, what is he doing here? I go, shut up, Kyle. I can't handle this. And he goes, well, what does it feel like? I go, kind of feels like I'm the assistant head coach. He goes, well, maybe you are. I go, well, am I? I don't know. And next week, they came down and said they're gonna roll me in, and I was just ecstatic.
And then you got a really big role after that.
Oh, I mean, when that storyline, because I would never get the scripts ahead of time, and
Oh,
I kind of found out like the week prior, not going in. So it was like some of the scripts were out 3 to 4 weeks. I found out like maybe 3 to 5 days prior when I started reading it. And I'm a slow reader. So it took me, if I got it 5, it took me 3 days to get into it. I'm like, what? So the ongoing joke is every time I see Kyle, I'm like, hey, thanks for the hate mail, buddy. I appreciate it. Everybody loves Kyle, rightly so.
Yes. But you played a character that was confusing because you were likable, but you were coaching that obnoxious JD who no one liked at that point.
You know,
the signing with his dad.
The beauty of playing a character like that, like the most interesting characters are the bad guys.
Yep.
Especially the unassuming bad guys. And I've played a lot of those in my career. I am the guy next door that you would not assume that is the bad guy, end up being a bad guy. And they're fun because they have these great arcs. With Wade, he didn't have really an arc. He was just in the right place at the right time, just taking the opportunity when it came. And so he didn't have to be a bad guy, and he didn't have to necessarily be disliked in the sense of a bad guy, but he had to be a guy willing to go and do it when the opportunity arose.
Yeah.
And then go head to head. So.
And the thing when he took over Kyle's position, which obviously all of us were very mad at you about, you personally, obviously.
You in the world.
You did it in such a kind way. Like you felt like it was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this to you, but I don't have a choice, is what it felt like your character was saying. So it was like, I'm not supposed to like you.
No, yeah. That's the thing. I think the beauty. So I grew up in Texas. I know Midland, Odessa really well.
Amanda's also in Texas.
Yeah, and so they live and bleed oil and football. I mean, it's a big thing, and there's a huge rivalry, yes, but I think there's also a great respect across the board, and within football court coaches and stuff, you have those who are very deliberate in their games, and then you have those that just play the game. And Kyle's character never was deliberate, I don't think. I mean, he wanted to win, absolutely, but I think he was vindictive or not. And he didn't do any dirty tricks and stuff outside of the one little thing, which was he behind it? Who knows? The toothpick sticking all through. But I think that's the beauty of it, is that what Peter Berg was trying to create is something that competed with reality show.
Yeah.
And so very loose. He had a loose head on every camera. It was over the shoulder harness in your face, and you had 3 of them around you, and you danced. And because of that, he also wanted reality. And instead of trying to build something into what wasn't really there, I think there's something to be said to be able to take an opportunity, feeling a little bit regretful for it, but yet now I got a job to do, and seeing 2 guys do their jobs.
Yeah.
So do you have any actors that you would like to work with again, or not necessarily on Friday Night Lights, but anything you've worked on, any that you'd like to work with again?
Bryan Cranston.
Oh, yes.
Bryan Cranston is one of my all-time favorite. He is a chameleon, that guy, and it's just a joy to be around. So really liked him. Of course, Kyle. I mean, I like I said, I'm working with Brad Leland right now and Jesse Plemons, and his career has blown up to just amazing stuff. And he's such a humble guy still. He's just a normal, down to earth, we just hang out, pick up where we left off. But yeah.
He's one of my favorites in Friday Night Lights.
Yep. Jesse Plemons is one of our favorites in Friday Night Lights.
He's such a great character. He's just that shy, unassuming kid that just comes out of nowhere and just has that winning thing.
There's when we reach out to cast and crew to get them to see if they want to interview with us and talk with us about shows, which we are like asking for everybody that we love to come on the show. So you are one that we love. We did like your character. See, even though we liked your character enough to ask you to come on, even though we're confused about you. But Jesse was one who I personally reached out to his agent, and I called his agent the wrong name. And I was like, oh no, I got to respond back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you that name. This is why I did it. And then as I sent that, I'm reading through the email and realized I said he was in the wrong show. And so I had to message her a third time. I'm like, I'm never hearing this person again. Not ever.
We've all done it. We've all done it. Don't worry about it.
No one else would take the lead and apologize for me. They kept making me humble myself and do it myself, but it's all right.
Hey, so here's the funny thing. I'm dyslexic, and so I'm not allowed to send emails out. My wife has to proofread them before I send them out because they sound like blubbering idiot. I'm like, in my mind, I said it. Then I said it. So,
Yep. My husband is
you know,
dyslexic. Yep. And
Yeah,
I do
you
this.
know
He
it.
tells me.
Doesn't mean
Same
it's any
thing.
less. Just means I just don't read my emails.
Exactly. I'm not stupid. I'm just careless. That's all. Tiffany, did you have another question from your list?
To finish answer that question, there's a million other ones I'd love to work with. I mean, I'm working with Elizabeth Olsen right now, and you know, I've always been a fan of her. I thought she was very talented. I mean, her career is amazing, and her studies are unbelievable. But I'm literally side by side where they're having a conversation with her, and I'm watching her prepare. And at the end of the shoot, I look at her and I go, "You just scared the hell out of me." And she goes, "Dad, really?" And I go, "That was so good." And he's just like, ah.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that you on the Friday Night Lights set, you see a lot of people like before I got the benefit of binging it over the past, I think over the summer I binged it because we were supposed to have another one of our team members on here today who instigated all of us to fall in love with Friday Night Lights. She was the head starter behind it all. And we just binged it. But when that show aired, the actors who were on there weren't like huge actors on there.
Mm.
But I got the benefit of seeing it now where you guys are all doing pretty awesome. So
I tell you what,
it was a really talented set.
Yeah, it was a launching pad for a lot of people, and you know, rightly so. I think that talent. I think the show did so well with allowing, because what it trains you to do is to listen and respond in a natural way. And so I think what it did so well was to allow characters and actors to become very loose and open to different, I guess, directions. Because if Kyle said, most of my stuff was Kyle and Connie, but if Kyle said something, he was notorious for saying, you know, some things off, then I had to follow and redirect it back in, or he had to, vice versa. And so it was all about the response and making it believable that we were just small town football team, you know, in the middle of Texas and living life.
Yeah. I think that's what makes it so special. I think that's what makes it really fun to watch because you believe, like with Taylor Kitsch is one actor that is on there that I've watched him play so many different things since being on Friday Night Lights that are different, but he's not the only one who's like that. And you really believe that they are this character because you guys played your character so well on this show that you're fully engrossed. And because of the way it was shot, it feels so real. You're fully engrossed and invested that these people are these characters. They aren't just characters, they're actual people to you now.
Yeah.
And it was really well done that way.
And Peter did such a great job of guiding that, you know, and all the directors that came in were amazing. Jeffrey directed a lot of it. We had David Boyd come in and direct a lot of it. We had a list of all these incredible directors that they understood the show like Peter's vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you said you had one show experience before that, did you have are you stepping into this fairly new after doing the one show, or did you have some other projects in between there?
No, I had, oh gosh, I was just coming off of Mad Money with Diane Keaton and you know, just an incredible list of actors. I was coming off of that. I did a few other films in Louisiana, and I got that And so I was somewhat still shy, new and nervous. Yeah. I mean, I think I still am nervous every time I get started roll, until that first word comes out. I'm a little bit nervous anyways, but I remember there was a take because I wasn't listening, and Kyle would say something, and what he was saying was stop doing that. And it was me on the field running through plays, doing drills with the players. And he came up to me, he goes, why is he over here doing this? And I forget the whole exact storyline behind, but he kept telling me, well, quit it. And I went right back into doing it. And that third time he came up, that's okay, quit it. I was like, oh, and it clicked because I didn't hear him say quit. I just hear it. I'm just going back into it. And I said, oh, I see. And he goes, yeah. I go, my fault, my bad. Okay, let's do this again. Ever since then, I didn't do it anymore. He loosened me up quick. He did. He loosened me up quick.
That's awesome. Is he as nice as he seems?
He really is.
Okay,
Him and his wife and his family are they're such great people, and they have big hearts. And he's him and his family, they do a lot for the community that they live in. They do a lot for our charity. They're just incredible human beings in life.
That's awesome.
Do you have any favorite scenes that you did when you worked on Friday Night Lights?
Oh, everyone I was in, they didn't cut me out of. I love the football scenes. They were a lot of fun because there was a lot of action, a lot of moving parts, and so everybody was there. Anytime I got a chance to work with Connie, she was amazing. But the kids, all those guys, it became like a group, and we just enjoyed. You could see everybody enjoyed what they did. So,
yeah. Now I am the only football fan of our group, so those are my favorite parts too, are all those scenes. I know, it's shocking.
The other ladies tolerated, I'm sure. You got
Amanda does like football. Sorry,
excuse you.
I'm here. Hello.
It's because no one likes it the way I like it.
You just don't like it because I like the Cowboys.
Well, that's a fair point. I'm from Wisconsin, so Cowboys are not my team.
Boo.
My guy has a better chance of being MVP.
Oh.
So when I was watching the show, we have chats because we run 15 different groups on Facebook, and we have like 40,000 members in all the groups. So it's
wow.
We have chats that we have to keep for every show that we do, because otherwise it gets confusing. And I would do live updates while I'm watching it, reacting to things. And I kept reacting to, that's a bad call. That ref made a mistake. And they're like, what are you talking about? You need to like this the way I like it. But there was a lot, I got invested in, because those scenes, again, they were so real. I got invested in the plays, and obviously it was scripted if they lost or won, but in my head it wasn't. So when there was a bad call, I would legitimately get upset. And that opening scene of Friday Night Lights, the very first scene you turn it to, where Tim Riggins is getting the crap pounded out of him in that kill circle, I was like, yeah, someone would get arrested if they did that today. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, but back then they wouldn't.
I mean, know.
That was the thing, especially in that town. It was, you respect the team, you respect each other, you're a family, you're a team, and you come together as one.
Yeah.
If there's a weak link, it's going to be found, and they go through it.
That's awesome. So I'm going to guess that you are a Cowboys fan then, from the cheering.
I am. It's the whole Paul Bearer joke where we're gonna have him as our pallbearer for our funeral, so they can let us down one more time, kind of thing. But hey,
you guys are doing terrible
in the playoffs, so
yeah. I mean, woohoo! I hope you lose, but I mean, woohoo!
Personally, I think if we take away a fourth quarters, we could win this thing all the way.
Right?
See, Green Bay is the opposite. If you take away the fourth quarters, we're in bad shape.
That's
fourth quarters where we show up.
Listen, Green Bay just wants to go out with a bang, because he's not coming back next year, so he can get that big bonus kick.
Oh, blasphemy! Do not say that.
You got a building structure in front of you for a few years.
That's scary.
It's coming.
I regret bringing that up. So you spoke about your charity. Can you talk to us about what is your charity that you run? What is that about?
So Wish for Our Heroes. It's Wish for Our Heroes. And I can send you a link to it.
Yes, please.
It's a military charity that deals with everyday needs that fall through cracks or bigger needs for military families, those who are employed overseas, and they're just a paycheck falling through, and they don't have the money to support, and bigger issues. We deal with active and vets, wounded, non-wounded, service members, families, all the above. But Jeff Wells is the founder creator of it, and he went through Iraq and everything else, and he was an engineer, part of a tank squad over there, and he saw how much stress that the military and soldiers were going through, trying to figure out how to take care of family back home while still fighting a war and going through that because of whatever reason. And he started Wish for Our Heroes in honor of his dad. And
wow.
he wanted to do something. And I love the charity. One of the things I ask about a charity is what's your back end administration? I mean, obviously you got to have one because you got to make it run.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff said 3 to 5, and I think they were just shy of a year into that charity, standing on street corners with boots, raising a couple $100, go grant a wish and go and come back. And the way it works is it's a third party. So the people that are receiving the wish granted don't know they're getting it. It comes in from a third party source of, hey, this family is in need of this, and we feel like they need it. And then we have a board that views it all and stuff and puts them in a must right now. To this one could be pushed back a couple weeks. And so, and to date, I'm proud to say, I mean, we've like he's the one that introduced me to Jeff, because I had a small little production company doing the small little creative reality shows. And Kyle remembered that conversation and called me up and said, hey, you still got that production company? I said, yeah, because I want to introduce you to somebody. They need a promo video. And so we shot their promo video, and it just, from there, he introduced me to one of my best friends. And no one gets paid. We have a 3 to 5% back-end administration. We have 2 part-time employees and over 580 volunteers.
Oh, wow.
To date, we're going 12 years. We've, I don't know exact numbers because that's not my part of it, but our last event, it was 23 million and over 38,000 wishes. And our average wish, our average wish was lower, and now it's roughly around $900 per person. But it's just, and we all have our jobs. We all do what we do. We don't get paid to do it with that. It's the right thing to do. And the joy that we get out of seeing needs being done and needs being met, so the pressure's off of them to figure out how that can happen or needs to happen, is just, it's priceless. So
there's nothing that can describe that accurately.
Nothing. But it's been a great honor and a blessing for me to be a part of that organization, and I'm so very thankful for it.
That's awesome. That makes me a little emotional.
We all cry. You should want to see a bunch of grown men cry. You just step in that room. It's amazing. It's just, it's the stuff that we've been able to do. We have this thing called Wish Patrol that George Hill, he used to play. He trained under Coach Pop. Coach Pop down in San Antonio throws a big event for us in San Antonio.
Okay. And
George Hill started one in Indianapolis when he was playing for the Pacers. And I don't know where George is now. He may be up in Ohio. But because of him and Pat McCarthy, I think Pat McCarthy is how you say it, with the Colts, he became a big supporter of us. Indy 500 became a big supporter of us. All these different organizations, because they saw that our administration wasn't about raising, and nothing against any charity out there because they all serve a purpose in the right way. This is just the way we run ours. We are honest, just good old boys that serve their country and give back our time and to try to do good. And because of that, we don't do any marketing. We spend no money on marketing, advertising. It is all word of mouth. No.
What a huge blessing. Now, you were in the military, you said. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
kind of why your heart is so impacted by this?
Yeah, I was Navy.
Okay.
It was F-14 squadron. So
How long were you in the military?
I did 4 and 4.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
not a short stint.
No, but I was a young kid going in, and I had a scholarship to Rice University for track, and I just knew I wasn't ready to go to college. I couldn't wrap my head around. I was a doer more so than a book learner. So my brother was in the military, and I decided, it's a good opportunity to get out of a small town and see the world and culturally grow as well, and learn a craft, learn a trade. And I'd never guessed in a million years I'd be talking to you guys right now about Friday Night Lights. At that point in my life, I was just, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Do you often get to meet any of the individuals or families that you help through the charity?
Yeah, every one of them, because not every one of them, but every time we do a big charity fundraise, we invite, one way or the other, they come in, and so we work with a third party to get that family or individual there to that event, and then we do it live on stage.
Oh,
And so
wow.
the reactions are very real, and we have a lot of, we're part of the 22, and we're part of Fallen Angels, and part of, so we have all these different groups in there with us that deal with PTSD, that deal with, all the stress relations of it and everything else. And so we're very careful and conscious of the attitude and the energy. And we take our time and step through it. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And what it does for them is show them that they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
It shows them that they are loved by, because there's, I think our last charity, we had 1,200 people in the room. That was even spaced out. We had 23 World War II vets in the room.
Oh, wow.
There were 2 of them that were 103 years old.
Holy cow.
The youngest was 94, and 2 of them were 103. And
Wow.
so it was this beautiful thing of acknowledging, and we got a lot of flack for it. We got a lot of, it's like, how can you put them in that jeopardy and stuff? And if you want to talk to them, the reality of it is the jeopardy is them sitting in the house rotting away because they're not, have nothing to do and stuff. And so we were very careful in the way we approached it. Everybody was tested through it, and it was such an amazing night. And the feedback from that, and the thank yous, and the excitement, and allowing them to see that, hey, you're not alone no matter what you're going through. And I think we need to do more of that in life, to be honest with you. Just all circles.
For sure.
Absolutely. So I was kind of creeping on IMDb earlier. And it's not bad, trust me. So another one of our groups, though, that we are huge fans of and we love is The Resident. And I saw that you were on an episode of The Resident. Which episode were you on? I've been trying to sit here and think.
That's a good question. I have to go back and look at that too.
Well, it says 2019. So
yeah, it was
I think it tells me.
You watched the show?
Oh yeah.
It's one of our groups that we have.
So I just want to make sure.
A few times.
She claimed you weren't a football fan, so now it's starting to the right. Well, it's starting on a riot here. I was the drunk pilot. I was the.
Oh.
I forget the character's name. Apologize, because
you do play
Bryce
bad
Foley.
people.
Yeah. So I was, and I was that guy that came in, and they were struggling whether or not to turn me in. Great cast, man. Those guys, man, you want to talk about, those kids are talented. Like, I mean, but it's like everybody's coming up the pike right now and stuff with these big hit shows are just, they're killing it.
Oh yeah. And I think anybody we've talked to from The Resident, they say the same thing. Like the set is amazing.
It is. It is.
Yeah. That's what
It's
I've
so
heard.
loose. It's so loose. The set right now I'm on, Love and Death. It's an HBO Max series. It's a true story that took place back in the 80s in Wiley, Texas. And
Hey, I'm actually the town over.
yeah, well, I used to live in Saxe, Texas.
Okay, I'm in Richardson.
Yeah, no, you have.
This means
But
nothing to Tiffany and I.
I know.
When I was doing Friday
Us
Night
Northerners.
Lights, I was in Saxe, Texas. So, but that set, you think about all the stuff that's going on and to keep everybody safe from it, quarantine, all this. That set has been run so well, in my opinion. And it's such a large set, and there's huge actors around it and stuff. No one has this huge ego. Everybody's laid back, so it makes our job easier. So we don't have that tension around us and stuff. We can fall into it. But man, I kudos, because in the time we're living in now, with all the new restrictions and the COVIDs and all the different forms of it going around, there's a lot of moving parts, more so than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That.
Was there, speaking of shows that you've been on, I think Amanda has a question about shows too.
No, I was just asking about The Resident because.
Well, shows we usually ask all of our, and we usually
Oh.
get the same answer from a lot of people. Yeah, see,
Sorry.
she's forgetful. It's not me. She's forgetful.
I am. I have ADHD.
Oh yeah.
My head's everywhere at one time. So one question we do actually ask everybody, it's one of my favorite questions, is that if you could act in any show right now, what show would you want to be on?
Gosh, there's two, but one for sure, Yellowstone.
That is the one we get so often.
Yellowstone and Ozark, I think,
Yep.
are our two most popular answers.
Yellowstone is my world. I mean, I got a Western. Lionsgate's releasing my latest Western right now with Trace Atkins and Tom Berenger in February 25th. I've done 6 Westerns in the last 2.5 years, and I'm about to direct another Western. I just love them. I was born in the wrong period.
That feels like Texas through and through to me, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was raised on them.
Yeah, I was raised on them. I mean, that was it. They're my spirit animals. Those and horses and dogs are my spirit animals, man. They're my buddies.
What is the other show that you were thinking of? You said there were 2.
I was thinking of 2. You want ADD? I got it. I think it's my sinuses too. Gosh, dog, I was just thinking of, because I was just watching it the other day. Successions. Have you seen it?
Oh, I have not, but we've actually heard a couple people tell us about that.
It is so true.
It's a good, yeah, I've seen most of it. I haven't finished it yet, but I've seen most of it. My husband likes it.
Yeah, it's just dark, deep character, driven. Yeah.
Those are the fun ones to get into.
Mm-hmm.
When you can pull outside of who you are naturally, that's gotta be fun for you to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the opportunity, the things I love working on a loose set. I really do. I mean, I understand need of structure and everything, and we've done that. Coming off of Friday Night Lights, I did a movie called Wire in the Blood. And it was Robson Green, and it was the writers from like Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and they came over from the UK. They wanted everything said verbatim. And I remember I was like, oh, this is going to be hard, because I just came off of this one show where you said like half, and then you went on, and now I got to say everything verbatim. And
hard.
No, it was a little difficult going into it, but luckily, it worked out, and I figured out how I could do it, and I got it done. But even Breaking Bad, rightly so. I mean, those words need to be said, because it's amazing writing. But to be able to, as a character, what you want is the freedom to go ahead and if it feels right, do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And Breaking Bad, we were just kind of playing around. And I remember the director and the show, the writer at that time on that episode comes up and he goes, "Yeah, I like what you're doing. Keep doing that." I'm like, "Yeah, hey, let's go." So that's exciting because then you get to engage into your character a little bit more and add a little bit more flavor that you feel like it should be instead of being verbatim.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was going with this.
Talking about loose sets and shows you like to be on.
Oh yeah, loose sets.
I got you.
But that's those to me, that's when you find the honesty, right? It's like take a Clint Eastwood, one of my faves. I think he's
master.
Brilliant. I think he's a brilliant director. And he rolls on rehearsals because that's when the great stuff comes out because you're not acting in front of the camera. It's not like action. Your voice drops, 3 octaves lower and you get all serious and you're going to this. It's like rehearsals. Anyways, I'm thinking about doing this. And then he'll say cut and they'll keep rolling out just because they're going to get little nuggets. And those little nuggets are what I feel can grab an audience, the honesty for an audience.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And that's one of the reasons I started directing too. I mean, I love acting, love it. It's an amazing feeling to get to work with talented people and show up and learn something new about yourself. But directing, it's even that much more amazing to be able to guide the ship and see it unfold in front of you as you're creating it together. And the tempo, the structure, and because you see something on that moment, it may spark an idea that transfers over to something else that even enhances even more. And it's small little tweaks here and there, and it's like a huge collaboration, and I just love it so much.
Yeah. I run another podcast and I interviewed a director on there and I was telling him some of my favorite scenes and he was like, that's actually something we did different. And he was talking about when he directs something, what he does is he'll film the scene. He won't say cut or anything. He'll just keep rolling and the scene is ended, but what my favorite parts were the parts that happened as he kept filming that he chose to leave in there. And you can't, to pull them out of there almost seems wrong. So I agree with you. Those are my favorite shows and my favorite movies are the ones that have stuff like that in there. That's pieces that aren't scripted.
Yeah. I mean, you look at us, characters shouldn't be perfect. Because we're still human beings, the character still should be a human being. And so those characters have to have flaws. And if you make them so perfect, then you remove the honesty behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you said that you direct too, and you and your wife have a company. What is the company that you guys do? And what do you do with that company?
So we opened a production company called Argentum Entertainment.
Okay.
And it's a Latin word. It's the purest form of silver. And my wife's brilliant when she comes up with all this stuff. It basically, I remember I was somewhere and she goes, I was on a movie set doing something. And she calls me. She goes, "I got the perfect name for it." She goes, "Argentum." I go, "What does that mean?" She goes, "That's a Latin word." I go, "I don't speak Latin." You don't need to speak Latin. And then she told me what it stood for. It's the Latin word of silver. And back in the golden days, silver screen.
Oh, so yeah.
Get back to making good quality product that could show on the silver screen. And so Argentum was born.
That's brilliant.
I love that.
I love that.
I was wondering what the connection was.
And many people told her that. Trust me, I agree.
Yeah.
So when did you guys start this production company? Is it a production company is what it is?
Yeah, so it's a production company. It's it's just her and I, and we facilitate needs. We have our own slate of films that we're in process of pre-production on a few and working through development on a few. We're always looking. Luckily, we have a funder behind us that believes in us. And so we either, like in Georgia, when we moved it over here to Georgia and stuff, we became on the ground facilitator production company. So if the productions come in, they have needs and we facilitate those needs. We help them find, either bodies or locations or equipment or whatever it is, just because of our relationships we've turned it into. And then on ours, we either collaborate with different production companies to bring in cast, crew, wherever, whatever. And then we do our own in-house, like New Life. Argentum Entertainment was created because of New Life.
Okay.
Because somebody believed in New Life enough to fund it. And we didn't believe in somebody else to be able to pull it off the way we wanted to pull it off. And since we were responsible for the money, we said, let's just take the ride. And we did everything.
Wow.
Learned a lot of highs, a lot of lows, good mistakes, bad mistakes. Built a lot of friendships and relationships throughout that. And so, yeah, it's been a great run.
So of all these different roles that you've had in this industry, do you have one that you gravitate towards most, or the one that you really, really cannot wait to get back into, or something you prefer over the others?
As acting?
Yeah, like you've acted, you've directed, you've produced, you run this production company. Do you have a role that, or is it all just kind of, I just love this industry so much, I'm just going to be here for it?
I think yeah, so I do have the roles that I love to play, but I think I haven't played my favorite role yet. I haven't been offered it yet. And I'm not sure if I know exactly what that role is, but I think like I tend to get somewhat cast in the good guy, the guy next door, the good guy. And NCIS, I was the bad guy. Law and Order, I was the good, or NCIS LA, I was the good guy. So I get to bounce around between the two, but I'm the unexpected person, which is kind of me and my personality. I'm just a happy-go-lucky kind of guy until not, and then I'm just kind of is what it is. I put some thought and stuff into the character, but I've been very kind of, I guess my career has been kind of driven that way. And I think there's some roles out there that I want to get where I want to do a period piece. I want to do a period piece so bad. I was up for one, and I just could not get the confidence down in the dialogue, and I knew it wasn't fair for me just to continue to try to push down that road. It just wasn't going to be the best it could be, and I didn't want that for somebody else, But it opened up a new world for challenge myself, and so I've been working on that dialect and everything, working on being able to get rid of some of the Texas out of me and add a little bit, splash of English or splash of, something else, or more neutral. And so I think to answer the question in whole, every opportunity brings new challenges and new adventures. And the beauty of a character is the words are written, but how you portray those words as that character is what separates you from everybody else that tried out for it. That's why you got picked. And so, and then once you got picked, to me, that's when the real work starts going in, because you get to meet everybody. You get to understand the thought process behind the writing. You get to understand thought process behind the character, and really dig deep and have some fun.
And those connections are made too, that I'm sure every connection you make when you're on a set, whether it's with a director or producer, with another actor, you're going to take something from that. You're going to learn something from that, whether it's how they run their process or how they train you to do your role. It's a connection that's made that can help you fully evolve as an actor, I would imagine.
Oh, it's 100%. You learn, because I love being challenged. I love coming up against somebody that's just incredible and being pushed, because that's when I get out of my comfort zone, and that's when I learn something new about myself. And I can take that emotion and go, wow, that was, I love that. Let's do that again. And it usually plays well on camera. So those are the days you live for. Sure.
Absolutely. Now, you have done a lot of behind the scenes work. Is there something about that is, I'm sorry, I keep playing, this is new, so I keep playing with my head and I can't stop it.
Listen, I shaved my head when Erin shaved her head and my lead shaved his head, because that was once Erin said she was going to shave her head because she was the lead actress in it, and she was the lead actress in Fireproof and all that stuff, so she has a huge following in the faith-based world. And so when she came to say she was going to shave her head, I was like, all right, well then we got to find the guy to shave his head. And so through an auditions and going and offering out these roles to all these great people, one of the criteria is, will you shave your head? And luckily we found the guy we found. Because, man, he's John Patrick Moore. He's just an amazing actor and so good, so natural, perfect. He was our Ben in that. And I remember when he shaved his head and she shaved her head, I was like, all right. I went to the makeup artist, or hair makeup. I said, shave my head. And I walked in, everybody was crying. I walked in, they're like, oh!
We had a head shaving.
The first time I took a shower, I was like,
right?
This is amazing.
That's what I thought. I keep trying to do things like my hair used to be down to the middle of my back. So like I keep trying to do things like I have hair. This cuts off so much time. It's amazing.
Right? We had to save in 30 minutes. Perfect.
We had a head shaving party and my husband shaved his head with me. So it was really fun.
Well, you look beautiful anyway, so it doesn't.
But you've done other things out behind the scenes. Is there something about behind the scenes work that pulls you in a different, like, I don't want to say more than acting, but is there something about being a director or a producer, or even have you written anything, any scripture, like that? Is there something like that that just sucks you in and something about it you love so much?
My wife's a big writer, and we have a bunch of different writing partners, and we're always searching out different writing partners for ideas. Right now, one of our writing partners is Gary Walsh. He's out of Ireland, and we met him at Cannes Film Festival when we took New Life to Cannes, and I'll never forget it. We produced the whole thing in-house. I directed that. Erin and I created it, but it came out of a thought of my head, and I just was in a bad spot. My grandfather died of a broken heart. He was my best friend. I was doubting whether or not I did enough. I was struggling with my own right, and I just remember closing my eyes and imagining this short sequence of events. And so I came back and started kind of jotting it down with some help, and met Erin on the set of Redemption of Henry Myers, which is a crazy movie because I turned it down 4 times and finally told my agent, if you want me to do it, then do it. And it's a Western. I wanted to do it, but we just did re-up my value or whatever it was. And so it was like, we didn't want to go backwards. We wanted to go up, and we're coming off the big shows. And so I wasn't supposed to be on that movie. I wasn't supposed to meet Erin, but yet I was supposed to be on the movie. I was supposed to meet Erin. And I wasn't set out to do a feature film. Erin talked me into doing a feature film. So we set out and wrote it, and we wrote it over Skype. And I was on set, and she was on set, and I was somewhere else. She was somewhere else. And we just went through the process of it, and then we sent it out. And so to go through that whole process from beginning of creation to the very end, to where you see the credits roll on the big screens, it's pretty amazing. I mean, it's very stressful, but everything is, but it's pretty amazing. And so once we did that, we were like, all right, well, nothing we can't do. So Argentum was born from that. And then directing that, I just loved it. I mean, it was such a joy, because it's almost a little selfish, because as an actor, you're in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You got to hit marks, you got to hit tempos, and you got to hit the emotions and be very believable. And as a director, you just have to make sure that you're feeling everything that you want to feel for the character, so it portrays well, and understand the editing of the process of it, so you can put it together and make sure you have all the pieces. The great directors don't direct actors. They direct the scenes. They direct the story. They direct and guide the ship. The great directors cast well, and then they help guide the actor in understanding the character, and they may tweak and stuff. But in my opinion, a great director does his homework ahead of time, and he casts. That way you have so much other stuff to do on set anyways. But as a director, I get to sit back and absorb all that emotion, and kind of stingy, but take it. Like, I love it. Feels so good. All right, cut. Let's go. It's great. Let's move in. Let's throw 85 on or whatever it is. And it fits well in my world because I'm very ADD as well, and I see visions. Like when I read scripts that I really like, I will ask somebody or ask Aaron, or I'll have somebody else read it out loud to me so I can listen to the word and visualize, because that's how I learn. That's how I grasp something, is I have to visualize it in my head as it's being said and absorb it that way to understand it. Yeah. And so once I'm to that point, then it becomes magical. It's like dancing in my head constantly. You know?
I mean, that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Oh, it
gets scary up there. No, it gets a little crowded.
It's true. All right. So we have one final question that we ask all of our people.
You told us a little bit about some of your upcoming projects, but we just wanted to see if you wanted to tell us about any upcoming projects you have, whether it be acting or directing, just to let everybody know what's going on.
So we're, as I stated earlier, well, may not stay, I don't know, but Lionsgate, I just finished up a Western in February of last year with Trace Atkins and Tom Berenger, just a slew of great actors and actresses. Shot it in Tennessee, and then we got the cut back, and it turned, Michael Pfeiffer was the director on it, got the cut back. And it turned out so well that Lionsgate is going to take it out theatrically February 25th. And then April.
What is the name of that one?
It's called Desperate Riders.
Okay. Writers or riders?
Riders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's I love it because it's me on the cover art, with a rifle, full trot on my horse, snow flying up behind us. And so it just like a badass. I'm great. But cowboy doesn't love something like that. It's great.
That's true. Absolutely.
But so it comes out 25th, and then it'll hit all the streaming platforms, Blu-ray and all that stuff in April. And we're starting a press junket for it, I think, late next week. They just reached out to me to start doing that. I'm currently on Love and Death, HBO Max series, David E. Kelly and Nicole Kidman. Incredible cast, incredible crew. We're excited about that one. We go back into production early February, and we'll finish out late March. And so that'll probably be coming out, I don't know, summer.
Okay.
I'm excited for that one.
I am too.
I built a house in '98 in Woodstock, Georgia, or not Woodstock, Saxe in Woodstock.
Yeah, Woodbridge,
excuse me. Built a house in there before it was nothing. Nothing was out there
when it was just the golf course.
Just the course, yeah. And so we'd go to Wiley and go to a little breakfast place, and we still go there. Every time I go back there, I go and eat there. But people would talk about it. You hear people talk about it, and just in random conversations, like, oh, that's cool. Okay, everything else. And here I am. I'm playing a character in this thing, and I'm like, this is crazy.
That is insane. I can't wait for that one.
Brad Leland.
I've known about it for a little bit.
Well, and then also I got a few writing partners that are they're writing a couple scripts, a couple Westerns that we're going to take advantage of some locations that we have, and we have a slate of 7 projects that we're really excited about.
Oh,
2
wow.
of them Christmas movies. So far, it's called Little Miss Christmas. We love this thing. It is the holidays meets oh gosh, honey, what does it mean? The holiday, Little Miss Christmas. She's upstairs. Yeah. little bit holiday, a little bit love actually, a little bit Parent
Oh.
Trap. Right? It's not
Oh,
it's not
okay.
your typical like uniform, uniform, or how you say that word,
I got you.
Christmas movie, but it is, and we're finally, and we love this script. I mean, it is our next one. We just like, okay, if we can get somebody to see the beauty, what it really is, then we're good, and nothing that's worth making is made right away. So
That's true.
it takes some time. So we've been nurturing this thing for about 6 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
we're finally seeing a lot of movement around it, which we're excited about. We have some funding behind us, and so we're going to be responsible with it, but we're going to come out with some good quality product. Our whole thing is we're doing this objectable content. We don't do it for the shock value. We lean on the writing and we lean on the characters. So hopefully 2022 we can open the floodgates up again.
That's exciting. Christmas movies are our sweet spot. We love Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Also, I loved your wife in Fireproof, by the way. I've been waiting to say that, but Fireproof is a movie that my husband and I used to watch together. We love that movie.
Well, you want to hear something? She was on my phone one night and she goes, "Hey, have you responded? It was you guys reached out and stuff to see if I do it." I said, "No, I don't even check any of that stuff. I don't know." She goes, "Well, I responded to it, so you're doing it." I'm like,
What
"Okay."
was her who did it? I love that.
Yeah. I'm just the ignorant guy with the phone. She's the one that.
That's a good wife right there. That's a good wife.
Thank you, wife.
No, thank you guys for reaching out.
Yes, we were very excited to have you on here. And I think that's all the questions we have, but we want to let all of you guys know if you have questions about what Drew Waters is doing, we will have all the list of this in our podcast description, but feel free to check out his IMDb page too and check out some of the other things he's been in. You've been in a lot of good stuff. So we were stalking a little bit before this interview. But you can reach out to us at our email at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com to see what he's up to or what we have going on. If you have any questions, you can also reach us on social media under Fandom Family Chats. That's TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. And then we have our Friday Night Lights group on Facebook, which is Friday Night Lights Dylan Family Fan Club. And Drew, it was so fun to talk with you. Thank you so much for coming on here, spending an hour with us and just catching up. We love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Happy New Year's.
Oh yeah, it is New Year. Happy New Year.
Keep smiling. That's a beautiful thing.
We will. Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Go
Bye, Drew. Thanks so
Cowboys.
much. Yes. Oh, you got me saying yes without thinking no. I'm not.
It's on tape. It's on tape. It's still recording. That's a clip. You got to get that clip.
Instinct. Shoot. Okay.
I'm making her keep it in.
Packers have a nice bye, and then we got home field advantage, and no one can play at Lambeau.
Oh.
All right, thanks so much, Drew. I'll get this out to you as soon as I have it done.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.